Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. Of course, we're live on a Friday night for the deadline preview stream. Don't worry, I will be back this week, of course, for the deadline stream for Game Week 7. That'll be live tomorrow at 8 o'clock where we will be doing team reviews, of course, breaking all the kind of key deadline news and kind of going through my team selection that week. In today's stream, of course, we are going to be going through all the key data you need to make the best decisions this game week. We've got lots prepared, including data from 11ify, Fantasy Football Hub, and of course the betting data from Rob T FPL. We're also going to be answering as many of your guys' questions as humanly possible in today's streams. Like I said, team ratings will be in tomorrow's deadline stream, so if you do want your team rating, make sure you are coming along to that one. Of course, as well, if you are new to this channel, make sure you're hitting that like button, subscribing for more FPL content, and make sure you are hitting that bell notification as well, so you will be notified when I do go live. I can already see we've got some absolute legends in the chat already. Louise is here. We've got VJ, one of our channel moderators. Jamie's in the chat as well. Someone said, how was Sweden? Man, Sweden was class. I genuinely can't believe how good it was. If you haven't seen that video already, I will actually get a link in the chat. There you go. Yeah, if you haven't seen the Sweden video or don't know that I've got a second channel where we do kind of like, I would say like, it's more like football away days kind of style content, head over to that channel, go and check it out. Like I said, we are approaching 1,000 subscribers on that one. As soon as it does hit that mark, obviously we can start monetizing the videos, and then we can do some more exciting things because, you know, stuff starts to pay for itself. And well, in essence, that's what it's all about, isn't it, really? And kind of doing bigger and better things. So hopefully we can get that across the line. But today's stream, the priority, of course, is going to be FPL. And obviously, if you're just focused on the FPL stuff, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button as well. What other questions have we got? I'm good, Jamie. I hope you're good as well, man. I hope you're good as well. Hope you're doing fine on this Friday evening. I took a hit for Van der Ven and Solanke from João Pedro and Robertson. Good or not? I mean, there's definitely some decent Spurs fixtures coming up, so I don't hate the move. Maybe I possibly wouldn't have taken a hit. I know João Pedro's out with a longer-term injury, so obviously he needed to be moved. And I think Solanke's a really good option. Van der Ven as well, who's been pretty decent for 4.5 for his owners. There's good projected clean sheets coming up. And actually, Spurs this season, XG conceded-wise, have been a lot better this season. Genuinely miles better than from what we saw last season as well. But let's dive into my team. Let's take a look how it's shaping up for this game week. Obviously, I went through it in the team selection. I don't think we're going to go for any transfers this week. Now, one of the players that obviously has been highlighted as a problem on Twitter, of course, this week is going to be Mykolenko and kind of the situation, whether or not he's going to play or whether or not he's going to be around and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a little bit tenuous, but nothing was mentioned in the press conferences. I've seen he's been dropped from a few predicted lineups as well. However, my other two bench defenders, Greaves and Aina, I don't think they're going to get clean sheets either. So I think the plan is we're going to play Mykolenko. We're going to hope for the best, that he's like, you know, fit and available, to be honest. And then if not, one of Greaves or Aina do come in. That's kind of the plan. Greaves actually has slightly better clean sheet odds as well, as we'll come on to see, compared to Aina, so that's why we've gone with him. In terms of team ratings, we're doing those tomorrow in the deadline stream, like I said at the start. That'll be done tomorrow rather than in today's one. Could Abdul Doucouré outscore McNeil in midfield? I mean, he could, but I think McNeil, with the creativity and the data that he's putting in at the moment, he will definitely outscore him over the long run. Better now the UCL is over. Man, my team sucks. Oh, dear. Yeah, the UCL wasn't for everyone. It was a good week for me, obviously, if you play UCL Fantasy as well. We had a really, really good week. A Limitless getting over 120 points. Ridiculous. Yeah, valid. Yeah, I get that. No, team reviews will be in the deadline stream tomorrow. They'll be in the deadline stream tomorrow. This one's where we're just going to go through all the data and kind of quick fire questions. Of course, get yourself involved in the poll as well on the channel. Which is the best captain for this game week? I feel like a lot of people have kind of made their mind up, and I do feel it is quite an easy one this week. And we'll come on to see some more data that is definitely suggesting Erling Haaland, for me, is the best captain to go for this game week as well. Midfielders are Salah, Saka, Rodgers, and Mbeumo and Mavididi. What do you think? Yeah, I like all of them. I think you'll probably be wanting to move maybe one of Salah or Saka on in the next few weeks with both teams kind of falling away in terms of fixtures. So yeah, probably one of those is going to go. Who should I captain? After last week, I was on the verge of selling Haaland. Haaland this week, easy. He's the best captain for the next 4 game weeks, done. Yeah, he's the best captain for the next 4 game weeks. Let's start off, of course, with our data from Rob T FPL. Like I said, make sure you go and follow this guy on Twitter. Some absolutely incredible stuff that he puts together every single week for the Premier League and, of course, for Champions League fantasy as well. As we can see, there's some really, really good, I would say, high projected points for certain teams this week. And then others, there's a lot of games where it could go either way, and it's very, very tight, and the bookmakers aren't 100% which way to kind of call it. So we could have quite a few goals in games, not many clean sheets expected this week. Outside, I would probably say of maybe Manchester City, Arsenal, and then after that point it all does start to get a little bit dicey. Chelsea defensively have been better but still not keeping clean sheets. Liverpool away from home as well, you never really can bank on a clean sheet at Selhurst Park either. I would say obviously, you know, looking in terms of those projected goal numbers, Arsenal are really, really fancy to go and do quite well against Southampton. I think with their weak defensive structure so far they've shown this season as well, that makes complete sense. I get why Manchester City are lower as well, because if you look at Fulham's expected goals conceded so far this season, they've actually been really, really good, which is kind of a change. Usually under Marco Silva sides, we see them being kind of towards the bottom end of that XG conceded ladder. He's never really had a team that are consistently good at defending, but this season maybe he's changed something tactically, or maybe he's got the right players where the system is just working. Obviously they've introduced Anderson as well, who was part of that Palace defence that again were exceptional at defence and obviously in the XG conceded column as well. So maybe Fulham aren't going to be whipping boys, but I do still think if you look at some of the teams they've played, they've not really played a big boy in there yet to kind of stat that kind of XG conceded out a little bit. So maybe it's a little bit misleading after 6 game weeks. What other questions have we got in the chat? Why have I left Palmer out? I think we'll come on to talk about Cole Palmer in a second, but for me personally, I think the fixtures are a little bit iffy. So that's currently why I'm not going for Cole Palmer. I'm starting Diaz, but if he's leaked to be bench, would you start DCL or Lewis? I probably would start... Again, though, would we gamble with Lewis or would we go with DCL? Like, I know DCL is going to play, and he's put up actually okay data. He's on penalty, so I probably would be tempted with DCL this week. It is a decent fixture for Everton, isn't it? Newcastle have got a lot of injuries as well going into that game. I think I'm going to go with Havertz myself, stayed with no Haaland. All right, I hope it works out with you, man. And obviously the projected goals are here, so why not? I wonder what the percentage chance of a Bruno red card is, bro. It's increasing. Let's put it that way. I'm thinking of going Diaz and Konate to Foden and Van der Berg after the international break. I like Phil Foden, right? I know he's a big risk this week, but he looked really, really good in midweek. The City fixtures, should I say, are looking very, very spicy indeed. So, you know, you can't beat that. You really, really can't. Yeah, Diaz is an interesting one. Like, obviously, we're going to find out with Liverpool being the early kickoff whether or not he's going to be in the side. If he's not in the side, then obviously it's a sell. Same goes with, like, you know, Mohamed Salah. Like, he's played again another 90 minutes midweek. I think he'll play. Like, I don't doubt it. I definitely think Mohamed Salah will be playing, but it's just something to maybe consider. Obviously, they're going to be the early team, so we might get early team news, hopefully. But Liverpool leaks recently have been quite dreadful, to be honest. Seems like they've kind of patched that up. I like Aït-Nouri. I really, really like Aït-Nouri as a pick going forward, especially after game week 10. The fixtures are definitely there. The XG conceded's actually been pretty okay considering some of the sides they're playing. So I do think once they start to play, you know, weaker sides, it'll probably push them even further towards a better XG conceded model. VJ's got the right idea. Make sure you are, of course, hitting that like button as well. 19 likes so far. If we could get that to 50 by the end of today's stream, that would be absolutely incredible. So obviously, if you are enjoying the content, make sure you're hitting that like button. Of course, subscribing to the channel. We hit 9k the other day. It would be absolutely amazing if we could hit 10k before the end of the year as well. Yeah, Foden is like, this is the thing with Foden. It is a big gamble. It is a huge, huge gamble. And for me at the moment with my team, I'm taking out two probably guaranteed, I would say at least 80 plus minute men for somebody that's probably going to be playing around 60 to 70. Yeah, it's a bit dicey, isn't it? Delap or Jimenez for the third striker slash bench option. Ooh, okay. Let me get the fixtures up. Actually, we'll move on. I think it's that one. Hopefully the right one. Damn it, I got the wrong one. Let's move on to the 11ify data, and I feel this is the perfect time to kind of be looking which team I would be kind of preferring. So Ipswich are down there, not really fancied too much for projected goals over the next week. Who else was your other one? Jimenez. Yeah, both options are a bit dusty, aren't they, to be honest? I know this graphic was wrong and I haven't had time to update it, but this sixth place here is Chelsea rather than Leicester. Leicester are 16th, Chelsea are up here. But yeah, in terms of those cheap forwards, who would you want to take a bit of a gamble on over the next few weeks? Really is the big question, isn't it? I think Bournemouth's fixtures around 10 definitely take a turn. So do Wolves. So maybe you're looking for the next 3 as a potential gamble or a little bit of kind of, a little bit of a punt. Let's have a look at fixtures because that XG conceded, the XG for there is a little bit potentially misleading, I think. Let's have a look. I mean, Leicester's not a bad set. Bournemouth, Southampton, Nottingham Forest, Ipswich, maybe Jamie Vardy. Delap definitely has decent fixtures. I probably would say Delap's got better fixtures than Fulham. So yeah, it could be worth a punt on Delap maybe. He's not going to have penalties though, so that would be a bit of a problem. But yeah, control yourself in the chat a little bit, guys, as well. You know, come on, we're a nice community here. We're not violent to each other. Of course, just doing some work of God by promoting the channel out as well. Mark will do team reviews tomorrow in the deadline stream. Thoughts on Van der Berg? He actually played in a 4-back, which I didn't expect him to do, so I think he could definitely be on the radar as well for the next few weeks. In terms of teams you want to be looking at over the next few weeks, obviously it is pretty self-explanatory, I would say. You know, the City, the Liverpool, the Arsenal, definitely worth kind of taking, some consideration going forward over the next few weeks. Spurs and United also have really, really good fixture swings around about 8 as well. As we can see, maybe the likes of Dominic Solanke, Son, Brennan Johnson definitely should be entering people's thought processes as well. Then, of course, we have Manchester United with a decent set. Starting around game week 8, their fixtures take a huge upturn. And I think maybe by that point, either Eric still might be here, and this could be the period where he brings it back round, or he's gone, and this is a new manager bounce going into a great set of fixtures. Whatever happens here, United won't continue to lose games. It just won't happen. They're creating plenty of opportunities. They are, well, not comfortably, in games. There's still like the structural issues and stuff like that. But you can't continue to create the opportunities that you're doing with the squad that they've got against lesser opponents. There will be United wins and there will be, points picked up over that period. So, stuff that happens in football, it doesn't continue to happen because fixtures change, environments change. And of course, I think there's still some decent good data attacking wise from United anyway. Defensively, still a bit dog shit, to be honest. There's no real way of getting around that one, is there? Let's move on to clean sheet data. Again, wrong one. Clean sheet data coming from 11ify over the next few weeks. Again, it is those same 3 teams at the top: City, Arsenal and Liverpool. It does look like those 3 are going to be in a bit of a title battle this season, so definitely worth considering their players going forward in the long run as well. In terms of the cheap budget options, as you can see, Brentford and Everton, definitely 2 teams I would be considering over the next few weeks with strong defensive data kind of projected over those weeks. Spurs and United as well. Again, it is that same period we just spoke about where it does obviously flick around, and that's probably where we should be looking as well. In terms of teams to be avoiding, probably if you've got Lewis Dunk, worth selling him off. As we can see here, really bad projected clean sheet numbers as well. Wolves are starting to move up off the bottom of the table after a dreadful start in terms of fixtures. Again, I would be looking around game week 10 to go and get somebody like 8-Nor in my side, to be honest. What other questions have we got? Offcore has said Garnacho is on my watch list. Yeah, 100%, man. Definitely should be on people's watch lists. Who do you think is the better defender for 5 million? Colwell or Van de Ven? But who do you think I should pick? I probably would say Van der Ven could be a decent shout. I feel he's got a slightly more attacking output, marginally, compared to Colwill. But he just seems to go on these amazing runs, doesn't he? McNeil, Mavidi, or Rogers? I would say longer term, we're probably wanting to maybe start to eye up potential replacements for Rogers. I think for his price point, it's worth maybe not even considering unless I was on a wild card a little bit later down the line. McNeil has been absolutely exceptional in terms of those data that he's putting up, so McNeil's probably the pick. Good long-term fixtures for Everton as well. I know Mavidi for the next 4 could be an interesting option as well. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cold. Not a cold. A cough, sorry, this evening. Diaz or Palmer? What team do you support, by the way? I would be looking more towards Palmer as a longer-term option. And in terms of the team I support, you can't see it anymore, but I support Mansfield. They play in League One. It's where I'm from originally. So, yeah, that's the team I support. I know, like, you can see a Dortmund shirt there, Dortmund top here, but I just like Dortmund. We're gonna go at some point. That'll be on the second channel as well. Obviously, if you have just joined as well, make sure you are going and checking out the second channel content. We are trying to hit 1K subs over on that channel. We've recently just done the Stockholm Derby. So yeah, like I said, go and check that channel out, guys. We are trying to get it to hit 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully by the end of the year, because obviously, you know, once that happens, we can start, you know, monetizing the videos and doing more exciting, cool stuff with that channel as well. Should I be looking to sell Gabriel in game week 9? Potentially. Like, I know the fixtures fall off, but as we can see here, there's still decent projected clean sheet data as well. So, yeah. Out of Van der Berg, sorry, Robbo, Van der Ven, Konza, and Byrne, which 3 to start? Spurs at 19. Again, I probably would use the Rob T FPL data here and go through each team and kind of pick the clean sheet percentages. So Robbo would definitely be starting for me. Then you probably would go with the Brentford defender. And then for the final pick, 18% versus what, a Villa? 21. So I'd probably start Newcastle are at 25. Newcastle are at 25, so I guess I'd probably go with the percentages. I'd probably go with the percentages there and do that. Again, though, like this might work out. I probably would be more inclined to start Konza over Burn, but each their own, I guess. Do you think Akanji is nailed at 5.5? Yeah, I mean, he hasn't missed a minute so far this season, which is a very valid point. But at the same time, it's Pep and it's roulette. That's all I really need to say. There will be some point where obviously it does all start going downhill, doesn't it? As always, you know. Someone looks nailed. Give it a few weeks. Pep's got him rotated. It's just the way it goes, isn't it, really? Yep, of course, got the right idea. Make sure you're keeping those questions coming in. Make sure you're getting yourself involved with the poll as well. Make sure you are liking today's stream as well, as it does push it out to more people, which is exactly what we want to see in here. We want to try and get 50 likes by the end of today's stream as well, which would be absolutely incredible. Bench Eze, play DCL and roll, or Eze to any mid under 8.8 and bench DCL. Ooh. I think you could play DCL this week, roll, take 2 into next week, and then you can do a little bit more maneuverability, I would say. And if Foden pops off, he's at 9.2. You could do a little bit of movement with 2 transfers, get Foden in. Obviously, there's the United swing in 8 as well. You're going into an international break, so you don't know what's going to happen on the horizon as well. I think if your team's looking fine for this week, I would recommend a roll, because we always see random players pick up weird injuries going into this international break to kind of avoid doing it, or some actually do pick them up while out on international duty as well. So I think rolling could be the sensible option if you've got a pretty strong team. And obviously if you can play DCL and bench Eze, then you know that's fine. It's not a bad fixture for Everton this week, so I think that makes sense. Any EFL advice for this week? Yeah, I probably would say, number one, obviously go and check out the stuff on Twitter with the betting data and stuff like that, comparing clean sheet odds and stuff like that, and picking teams from there that have decent projected goals for my attackers, and then of course, you know, decent percentage chances of winning, clean sheets for defenders, and of course the teams as well. So I think the teams that I would be looking to target this week would be like Bolton, Wrexham, Fleetwood. Those are probably the teams that I would be looking to obviously have my hand in. And always using the vice trick as well. If you don't know about that, have a player playing in the early game. Give him the vice. If he pops off, change your goalkeeper to a non-playing goalkeeper. Stick the captaincy on him. Puts the player that's just absolutely popped off in the early kickoff to your captain. Done. Simple. Hi there. What to do with Sharda? He's on my bench. I got 0.1 million in the bank. I have 3 free transfers. I use one to bring in Gvardiol for Robertson, or do I just roll and have 3? I don't mind the Gvardiol to Robertson move, to be honest. I think maybe you could definitely keep a Liverpool player this week. Like, I don't think it's the worst, and Robbo's actually looked pretty decent this season. His XGI isn't too far behind Trent either, and I do feel like he is due an attacking return, and hopefully that's going to be this week. I hope. But yeah, I've got Kevin Sharda, and I'm in the exact same position. From the comments from Thomas Frank and some of the predicted lineups I have seen, it does have Sharda starting up front again. So if you did want to play him, that makes sense. Which 2 Forest defenders should we pick? It probably would be Murillo and Aina. Is Emi Martinez a good pick? The Villa fixtures do start to tank off a little bit, and I do feel not for 5 million. He's a 4.5 million goalkeeper, really. Villa don't keep enough clean sheets. I know he had a great midweek performance in the Champions League, but yeah, don't let that potentially skew your vision. Lewis for Robinson, I have 1 free transfer only. I don't mind that, actually. Lewis for Robinson definitely could be a decent one. Obviously, though, you will be entering Pep Roulette, and obviously the risks associated do come with that. Who would you bench out of these 8? Slanky, Watkins, Haaland, Rodgers, McNeil, Saka, and Buemo Diaz. Ooh, I probably would say on the kind of face of things and looking at the projected goal numbers for this week, probably might have to be Dwight McNeil. That's probably how I'd do it. Yeah, I've got Dalot. Dalot's again another player that's on my radar. Has been a bonus point magnet. I included him in the wildcard video this week as well on the channel because I just do think he looks quite good. Does look very, very tasty. Right, let's keep this show ticking over. We did that one. Let's move on to the next section. Here we go. This is the predicted points for the next 5 game weeks. If you want to go and check out Fantasy Football Hub, there is a link in the description. I think they've now reduced it down to a 30% sale, so still pretty decent. Not the same as it was in earlier parts of the season, but it's been a really useful tool for me for kind of helping to identify players that I maybe should be looking for. Of course, they have the price changes on their website as well, so you can go and check that out. And of course, they have their AI team rating as well. So if I'm not around or not live, you can go and get your team rated for free by AI. So looking at this, of course, Haaland's going to be top. We've seen that with the projected goals. There's really, really good numbers. Obviously, that Southampton game as well, 3.3 projected goals for that game is absolutely ridiculous. And again, offers us another opportunity in terms of the triple captaincy. Salah's interestingly here. A lot of people are looking to flog off him, but over the next 5 is predicted to outscore both Palmer, Saka, Son, Foden as well. So maybe it could be worth potentially keeping hold of Mohamed Salah over the next few. Obviously, Palmer's going to be a popular transfer, and I want to talk a little bit more about him later in today's stream and kind of give my thoughts on it, whether or not you agree, right or wrong. Of course, this game is subjective. Everybody can have their own opinions. Nobody's opinion is more correct or less correct, unless obviously, you know, one player absolutely pops off, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So yeah, that's the way to roll with it. I think some other interesting picks that are definitely starting to enter my radar are Spurs players as well. Solanke, Maddison entering this list. Of course, Son a little bit further up, but it looks like he might be a doubt. And then as well, Trossard could be an interesting option at 6.9 for those people that do have Eze. Don't really have any money. The next 2 fixtures are definitely looking pretty tasty going forward. So again, could be a potential decent option to go for. And then of course we have Cunha starting to enter that list as well. Wolves players are definitely going to be one to keep your eye on around game week 10. So that's my top tip for you guys as well. Bench to McNeil last week and the 15-point burn me. Oh man, I feel bad for that one, man. Without considering price, who do you think brings in more points over the next 2 game weeks? Watkins or Havertz? I probably would say Havertz. Yeah. Should I replace Diaz with Mbeumo or Salah with Palmer? I probably would be more tempted with the Diaz move. Are you going to do transfers, and are you going to... I'm not going to do any transfers this week. The plan is to just roll. Take 3 post-international break and do a little bit of restructuring. Yeah, I think Foden's will be down to predicted minutes, just coming back from a long-term injury. Obviously, hasn't really seen too many Premier League games. And the Fantasy Football Hub model, as good as it has been with some players, it certainly has, I would say, flaws with, of course, Bruno Fernandes and Eze. It just loves them for some reason, and I don't really understand why. I get they create really, really good underlying data, but sometimes... yeah, it's a little bit dicey. In terms of those best Eze replacements, I definitely think, if you've got the money, Bryan Mbeumo is the number one I know going for. Maddison as well, if you've also got that little bit of money going around in the bank. I think Trossard, like I just said there, could be a very, very decent shout as well, potentially going for. And then I would maybe be kind of keeping my eyes on the United boys as well. Of course, got the right idea. Thank you for sharing the second channel in the chat as well. Make sure you all going over there, guys, and hitting that subscribe button as well on this channel as well. But yeah, make sure you're going over to the second channel, hitting that subscribe button. Like I said, we are trying to hit 1K over there. The video, well, the AIK Derby video is absolutely cooking at the moment. I can't complain about it. 45K views. Mental. But obviously when we hit 1K we can monetize the channel, and of course then we can start doing some even bigger trips, which is what the aim of that channel is really. Force on Salah to Mavidi, Watkins to Haaland, and Jota to Foden for a -8. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that for a -8. Not a big fan of that one. Obviously it gives you Haaland captain, but yeah. Will Diaz start? I've seen him in a few predicted lineups, and then I've not seen him in a different set of them. So again, they are the early kickoffs, so hopefully we can get some early team news regarding them. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Make sure you are hitting that like button, guys, for today's stream as well. Like I said, the goal is 50 likes. Of course, getting those likes does push this stream out to more people, and that is exactly what we want going further forward with this channel as well. Finish up our final data set to run through before we just answer your guys' questions and obviously talk about my team. Of course, is going to be it's kind of head-to-head records. We looked at it in the stream with Jake the other week, and this is something that I don't really know how to describe it. It was brought up in the FPL Therapy podcast as well with FPL Raptor, and he was talking about it, and they were basically saying it's a bit of like voodoo, and it sort of is, isn't it? There's no real science to it. It all is kind of psychological, a little bit up here, isn't it, really? Kind of scoring against past opponents, and maybe this sometimes might influence potential decisions in terms of captaincy as well. So Salah's got a pretty decent record, as you can see, against Crystal Palace. 156% returns in 9 games, pretty decent. Haaland's got the best, 3 games against Fulham, 5 goals and 1 assist. Definitely a decent record. Saka's not overly bad, but as we can see, people like Watkins never really scored against United, so that's not great. Foden's, despite him playing years and despite Fulham being in the Premier League for years, has only managed, of course, 1 goal and 1 assist. So it doesn't look great either. Dominic Solanke away at Brighton. Again, not a prolific record, but it is those ones of, I would say, Haaland and Salah that are definitely standing out in terms of previous records. And whether or not that is going to continue, we'll have to wait and see. Because like I said, this is a little bit of voodoo, but it worked last week. I said Bryan Mbeumo, he was 100% against Wolves. Not against Wolves, whoever they were playing last week, still managed to score, didn't he? So, again, how it works, I do not know, but there does seem to be something potentially in it, and we're going to monitor it throughout the course of this season. Gordon up front seems tempting. I mean, if I had Gordon, I probably would keep him for 1 more week, but after that, you probably do want to start to look to move him on. I wouldn't be bringing him in. Brighton, Chelsea, Arsenal is then the next 3 after that. Not great. Any low-owned or risky players with getting other than Lewis? I mean, Foden's obviously the big one, isn't he? Foden's the big one that could be one that could explode. Aït-Nouri's another popular pick that I'm looking at. I think United defenders definitely will be on that radar as well. Garnacho, Johnson, Maddison, all could be worth it. Bench Rodgers or Cavaleiro? I would probably play Rodgers. Better projected goals compared to Brentford for this week. Who is the best long-term mid under 8 million? Good question. Probably Bryan Mbeumo. Let's not beat around the bush. It has to be Bryan Mbeumo. The lead man, isn't he? A talisman. 4th highest scoring midfielder in the game right now as well. So, yeah. Team ratings will be done tomorrow over on Twitter. They won't be done in today's stream. They'll be done tomorrow over on Twitter as well. I've got a feeling that one Arsenal player will outscore Haaland this week, but the problem with captaincy is that I have no idea who will that be yet. And I think probably the safe route is to kind of maybe just stick with numbers this week. I'm expecting Haaland's kind of ownership to be through the roof, to be honest. Trent downgrade to Diaz to Palmer. I don't hate it. I don't hate that. Depends who your downgrade's going to be, isn't it? Any good defender for just this game week under 4.5 million? You could obviously go for a Brentford boy. They've got Wolves, of course. Kind of looking at other fixtures as well. Who's got decent clean sheet data this week? Let's have a look. Yeah, probably only going to be that one, really, isn't it? Maybe a Bournemouth defender? Away, 25% chance of a clean sheet. A West Ham defender with a 31% chance. So maybe Emerson or Kilman, maybe, potentially. Is there going to be a deadline stream? Yes, there will be a deadline stream. I'll be live tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll be doing team ratings, answering as many of your guys' questions as well. Of course, we are now on that road to 10k subscribers, so yeah. Morning, Tom. Could Brighton be a team to target with their defensive injuries? Definitely so. Definitely so. Going forward as well, they really, really could be a team that we start to look to, start to pick on. As we saw with the 11-5 data earlier in the stream as well, the clean sheet or the expected clean sheet data is really dropping off. So yeah, definitely. Oh, I hope it keeps on ticking. Notion vids, man. Hope it keeps on ticking. Which one would you start out of, Powell, Robinson, or Okoli? 18. What's Robinson got? 7. Powell, easy, 21%. Boom, done. Bench Rodgers, Vardy, or Lewis? Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I would probably bench Rodgers. Yeah, I think you probably would bench Rodgers, wouldn't you? There. Like Vardy, with him just being on penalties, always has that like ability to just go and pick up an easy points. Lewis, I think, is gonna pick up a mega haul at some point this week. I'm absolutely gagging to get him in my team, and that's where I want to take free transfers into next week. Have a little bit of a restructure, potentially Saka out, maybe then try and use the money elsewhere to maybe go and get a Foden. Like, we've got to have a little bit of a restructure, I reckon. Bit of a rejig with the team. Bench 1, McNeil, Rodgers, Wood. Probably would be Chris Wood in that one. Is Delap for James Ward, not James Ward-Prowse, João Pedro a good move? João Pedro's out longer term, so it's not the worst. There's definitely some decent set of fixtures, and I would just say Delap's numbers have been a little bit dismal, though. That would be my only query on that one. We had a few questions earlier about why I'm not as keen on bringing in Cole Palmer this week and why I'm not going for it. So let me talk you through the fixtures. And this is kind of where I'm at with them. So they got Forest at home. On paper, it's a green, yes. But Forest, historically, and since Nuno has come in, have been one of the best teams in the league for XG conceded. That trend's continued. Then they've got Liverpool away, who are the best team for XG conceded. Newcastle, whatever, I think they should win that game. Newcastle look a little bit ropey at the moment. Same with United. I don't really know how to call that one. So that one could be a bit iffy. But then Arsenal as well after that. Like, that run in there, I wouldn't say there's like a gimme. You know what I mean? There's not a game there where I look at it and go, right, Cole Palmer's getting 25 points again. There's not a gimme, and there's not, for me, a game in there where I'd want to captain him. You know what I mean? Bar the Newcastle game in 9, but Haaland's got, what's it called? Southampton. So again, where here would I captain him? And this is just the thing. I just don't think the fixtures are as good compared to other players. I think maybe taking a gamble on Foden for that period, then looking to bring him in here around game week 12 when they face Leicester, sure, he could be a great captain at that point. So that's my kind of thought process with that one. Hello, mate. Thoughts on Delap for this week for Welbeck? Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions about Delap, so let's go and have a look at him as well. Delap. I don't know if you guys can see the XG. Yeah, you can see it here. So expected goal involvement is 1.1, and he scored 2. Again, the minutes are a little bit dicey, as you can see here. That last game was the first time he's played a full 90 as well. And obviously, that's where he picked up 2 goals, and that's what's probably going to make people potentially go and look at him. But obviously, as you can see here, 1.1 expected goal involvement. In terms of player that I think a lot of people are probably maybe undervaluing, is somebody like Calvert-Lewin. As we can see here, 2.1 projected goals, so better goal involvement. As we can see here, actually pretty decent across the last 2. Arguably maybe a little bit unfortunate not to have gone and scored with 0.26 and 0.34. We've also got somebody like maybe Jamie Vardy with their run as well. Again, his is pretty poor, to be honest. Nothing in the last 2 games really for him, which is a little bit of a shame. But it is Jamie Vardy, and he is one of those players that does just pick up goals and pick ups, points galore. In terms of the other players, I probably would say, is it Strand Larson? I want to take a quick look at him and see what numbers he's sort of putting up. So 1.3. Again, the minutes are a little bit dicey, but the reason I would be maybe eyeing up somebody like him is we can see here, if you could bench him in 8, it's a pretty good run, probably all the way up till game week 18, so you could hold him till around probably Christmas time. It's not a terrible run. The data isn't exceptional or anything to kind of write home about, but neither's is, of course, the lap. And I do feel like we will start to see Wolves start to put in some goals over the next few weeks, kind of coming up in terms of their players as well. What questions have we got in the chat? Let's have a look. Gavardio or Lewis Boren? I would probably say Lewis. He looks a lot better this season. Saka to Foden in game week 9, Palmer in game week 12. Yeah, that's literally a possibility. Yeah. I hate him destroying my rank. Yeah, he definitely destroyed everyone's rank. As a Hull fan, I'm not keen on Delap. Yeah, I'm not 100% keen on him either. Yeah, Porro's probably the obvious shout, isn't it? No, this is the thing, right? People are saying like, oh, surely Saka's the better captain. Haaland's a beast. He's top of projected points across the board on all the models as well. He came off early in the game at the weekend, so I probably would say Haaland. Haaland's just the better one. A really, really good record as well against Fulham. So yeah, I'd probably say that one. Cheers, Chris. Thank you very much for subscribing. I can see the channel members have already welcomed you as well. It depends if they're red flags. So if players pick up a red flag, they then don't drop in value. So yeah, that's kind of the reason behind that one. Next week, Robertson to Lewis and Eze to Foden with City triple up. It's definitely on the cards, man. If Foden looks good and plays decent minutes, yeah. Haaland, Palmer and Saka are great versus any team. It's also a fair shout. I just kind of want to look at it in terms of captaincy. And always having the best captaincy options every single week. And I feel like Palmer over that next 5 doesn't really have that vibe. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. And I think the fixtures might be a little bit more harder than people think as well. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Do keep your questions coming in. Like I said, guys, there is a poll going around on the channel as well for the best captain for this week. I do feel like the large majority of people are, of course, going to be going for Haaland, and it makes sense, doesn't it? It really, really does. Best 4 million defender. I would probably say the lad from Brentford, Van der Beng, or something like that, or probably Greaves. What are good options from City? Obviously, apart from Haaland, Rico Lewis definitely has to be in the conversation there. Phil Foden, Gundogan seemed pretty decent minutes. Savinho maybe, but he was benched at the weekend. Again, this is the problem. It's Pep. That's the problem. Every other time we would be all over City players when they got a good run. Palmer and Saka or Salah and Bruno on the wild card. I probably would say Palmer and Saka on the wild card. I just think Bruno's lost his head a little bit. This is the thing, right? I'm gonna make a bold claim this week, and people can either disagree or agree, whatever in the chat. Like I said earlier in the stream, this game is open to interpretation. There's different ways to play it. I would prefer going for... I'm going to say it here this week. Salah's going to outscore Palmer this week. Bold claim, he is. I get you've got Diaz already, but Diaz is in some predicted lineups and not in others, so yeah. Do you think a -8 hit is too much, even though you think you will get 20 plus points? If you back it, go for it. Like, genuinely, if you've got a gut feeling that it's going to do well this week, go for it. Who am I to judge your gut feeling? Like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, a -8, it's got to be worth somebody that you're definitely going to be captaining and definitely has the massive upside to go and do that. My God, my throat is a bit battered today. Bench boost or save it using 1 free transfer with 3 in the bank. Who have you got on the bench boost? Hot potato. That'll make me make my mind up. Do keep those questions coming in, guys. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button as well. Like I said, we will be live for the deadline stream tomorrow as well from 8 o'clock in the morning. I think Leeds are losing already. They are. I told people at work, I was like, Leeds will lose. Leeds will genuinely lose today. And they were like, no, Leeds won't lose. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Why only one City player when their schedule is amazing? His name is Pep, but I do want to get a defender in. Again, we've got free transfers next week, so we're going to roll again. Free transfers, and I think the moves that I'm going to make at the moment are going to be Saka to Foden, and then probably getting rid of Konza for Lewis. So yeah. Benches Wood, DCL, and I think there's probably going to be a better set of fixtures for a bench boost, hot potato man. Yeah, I don't think I would have gone for Harvey Barnes either. The Newcastle fixtures are falling off a cliff. The projected goal numbers as well are also falling off a cliff, so yeah. No, I don't think it's worth a wild card if you've not got any Arsenal players. The next 2 are decent. After that, they do get a little bit dicey again. Leeds are falling apart. Thank you, brother. Love from Pakistan. Love that, man. Love that. Welcome to the stream anytime. We all obviously I outlined in the start of the stream that the like goal for today's stream, of course, was 50 likes. We're on 41. You guys have been absolutely amazing, smashing it out of the park. So do continue to hit that like button. Like I said, it does push out to more people, and that is exactly what we want to see. Yeah, Jamie's got the right idea. If you've got a gut feeling about something, do it, because you're going to be more annoyed if you didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had that feeling. You're like, oh, man, I wish I'd have done that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you don't want to look back on stuff like that. Out of Palmer and Saka, who's the better differential captaincy option? I would probably say Saka. No, I don't think Gvardiol. I think he only looks good when Grealish is on the left. If Grealish is on the left, he doesn't get far forward. Did you ever take a -32 point in FPL history? Yeah. Before I took the game seriously and like just used to play it with friends and stuff, me and my friend were playing each other in our head-to-head league on the last day, and we didn't have a free hit left, so we just built the best team. So yeah, I have done it before. Like I said, that was when I just played FPL with my mates. I didn't really take it seriously, and we just enjoyed it. I think Jota has been pictured in some of the predicted lineups as well, so he could be a decent one. Yeah, if you're unsure, like if you've not got a clear plan with your transfer, I think rolling it. I've said this to a few people. We're about to go into an international break and people will pick up injuries, whether or not that's kind of to get out of the international team or, of course, on international duty. We saw a big one for Manchester City in terms of their defenders. You know, people will pick up injuries. They just will. So, yeah, I think you're better rolling if you've not got a clear and obvious transfer to make. So, yeah. I can live with a failed move. I can't live with being a coward. Exactly. Exactly, mate. Hey FPL Diamond, hope you're good, man. Yeah, I did enjoy my travels. Like I said to anybody, I'll put a link in the chat again. Please go and check out the second channel as well that we do have. Obviously, we went out to Sweden for the Stockholm Derby. We are trying to hit 1K subs over there. The video is absolutely amazing. If you've got some time afterwards, please feel free to go and check it out. It's an absolute cracking video. Probably some of the best work I've ever produced in my life. So yeah, but yeah, please go and check that one out. Yeah, I really like Brandon Johnson. He's in a hot streak, isn't he, at the moment? He is in a hot streak and has looked decent. Best Pedro replacements. Calvert-Lewin, Vardy, Strand Larson, all very decent shouts. Leif Davis isn't a bad pick. Like, his XGI is pretty decent. Yes, it does stack. So obviously, if they've got 2 games, you will get the triple captaincy for both games. I posted on X 300 likes and I would cap Havertz. Bro, I'm retweeting that after this stream. I'm going to retweet that after this stream. Don't worry about that one. That one's definitely getting there. But I hope it works out, man. I hope it works out. Those are all the fun. Those are always like the fun ones, aren't they? Those are always the fun ones. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. We'll stay live for a little bit longer. Like I said, we will be back tomorrow, of course, for the what's it called stream, the deadline stream at 8 o'clock, where we'll be doing team reviews as well. Surely Vardy returns versus Bournemouth. You'd bloody hope so, although he's not had a shot in the past 2 games. So yeah, take that with a pinch of salt. Like I said, guys, at the start of the stream, the like goal was 50. We're on 45. If we could do that, mega. Absolutely mega. Appreciate everybody. I already used my triple captain, but it wasn't on Haaland. Oh, man, that stinks. That's a stinker, isn't it? I appreciate that one, Diamond. I genuinely do. Thank you very much, man. I know I was a little bit like that this week with content, but that was mainly because we went to Sweden. I didn't get back here till like, I think it was about 11 o'clock on a Monday. So yeah. I wasn't going to post anything until Tuesday, and I wanted to get that Sweden video edited and out for the people, man. But yeah, thanks for that, bruv. Keep Salah or sell Palmer. This is the thing, right? I think personally for me, Salah will outscore Haaland. Salah will outscore Palmer, sorry. It's a bold claim, but I just think the Palace defence this year have been weak. Forest have been really, really good since Nuno's appointment, and I think they might struggle. We've had 150 votes in the poll as well. Haaland currently leading the way with 69% of those as well. So, looks like he's going to be most people's captain for this week. Yeah, it has been a pretty wild season, man. If you look at in terms of, I keep seeing it on, Twitter. The kind of elite managers, so the guys that are getting like top 100k, top 50ks every year, the average this year is the lowest it's been in like 6 or 7 years. Everybody's down in like the 4 million ranks. And if you look across like content creators as well, like they're not doing great either. I've not had a great start, but I tried to do something a little bit different and go without Haaland at the start. He absolutely destroyed me, and obviously we're now going to have to rebuild and bring it back, but it does seem like this first opening couple game weeks have been a little bit topsy-turvy, and I think that's mainly down to the price structure of the game. You can't own all the big boys where you could last season, and I do feel like we've got 5 or 6 players that could very easily go and pop and do those 20-plus scores each week. I prefer Brennan Johnson over Dwight McNeil. You will outscore Haaland too. I hope so, man. No Haaland here. Saka or Salah captain. I probably would go for Salah. I mean, if you've got the wild card, maybe take a look at the wild card video I posted earlier on the channel. I know FPL Raptors on a wild card as well, so go and check out his video on it as well. My Havertz post has 49 likes, bro. We'll get it there. Do you reckon Villa will keep a clean sheet versus United? I think there's a 31% probability if I remember correctly, so not the worst. What is my current rank? It's dog crap. I think it's like 4.8 million. Had a really terrible start. Last week was just a... Yeah. But yeah, I think for right now, it's so hard to call because it's such a long season. Like I feel by Christmas you need to be close to the top 1 mil, and then after that point you can definitely start to kind of climb the ladders from that point. But yeah, I'd say for now, don't worry too much about rank. Enjoy the game. I feel like there's been such a thing this year about people like taking the game a little bit too seriously and mental health involved with the game. Like if this is your sole source of enjoyment, I know this is going to sound harsh, but find something else within your life, because something you have no control over shouldn't be the sole source of your enjoyment, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? We can put all the players out, we can do all the research. However, football has so many variables that can swing in different favours and stuff can go wrong that there's no point kind of putting your happiness or your kind of, I would say, dependence for joy on something that you have no control over. That's the beauty of football, and that's why so many people watch it. So I think for me, kind of, if this is all you've got, find something else. There's so much going off in the world. Get out there, go and enjoy it. Give you something that you can control physically, mentally. You can control it. You can control your emotions. You can control what happens, and that will be your source of enjoyment. Trust me, your life will get 10 times better. Genuinely 10 times better. But yeah, that's enough about that. That was quite serious for me. Jesus. Someone's nicked Jamie Vardy's Red Bull 100%. Palmer or Saka, who is better longer term? Probably Palmer's going to be the better one. Do you think Watkins will break the curse and finally score against United? No. We kind of looked at that earlier in today's stream, didn't we? Here, didn't we? We kind of looked at this. And we said, yeah, like, there's some juju going off or some magic here, some rain dance stuff. You know what I mean? Where it does obviously affect it. I think we've just hit 50 likes as well, guys. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for everybody that's been in today's stream as well. Absolute legends as well. Shankly, football isn't life or death. It's much more important than that. Yeah, I get it, but at the same time, you need stuff going off in your life. You really, really do. Start Robinson or Aina. I probably will be going Aina this week. Yeah, we really need some DCL points, don't we? A bit of DCL action. Andy's got the right idea. Also come to Bohemian versus Pats in Dublin. I'll get you interviews with fans. I was looking at it, right? I was looking at Ireland. I think Bohemian have got the lowest rated player in FIFA in Europe. Like the other ones are in like China and stuff like that. And obviously I don't have the money to fly to China just for a video. And I certainly don't really want to go and watch Chinese football anyway. But you know what? It's definitely a possibility, man. We might be heading over to Ireland at some point. Definitely will. 1,000 likes and I might captain Jota. Oh dear, bro. Oh dear, man. 1 like away from 50. It says 55 on my screen. It says 55. What's going off? Have we been duped? Have we been duped by the YouTube? Has it duped me? Has it done me in? Still not selling Eze. Should I bench him this week? Mid Salah, Eze, and Buemo Semenyo on Rodgers. It's probably a toss-up between him and Rodgers, isn't it, really? Probably a toss-up. I'd say it's probably a toss-up, isn't it? Cheers, Shane, for that one, man. Like I said, guys, I know some people it means, you know, life and death and whatever, but there is a lot more to life. There genuinely is. And when you have stuff go off in your life, negative or positive, you do realise that. So yeah. See the game as enjoyment and an escape rather than stress. There you go. I mean, I actually think United might win this game. And I never ever usually back United, but I've genuinely got a weird feeling that you see sometimes teams pick up results against big teams and then the next week, nothing. They just drop off a cliff. And I feel that midweek one, it's going to be such high, everybody's going to be buzzing, and now they're going to be going into this United game and it's going to be like, a bit flat. And I feel they might lose. They were a bit flat against Ipswich as well from the highlights I've seen. What do you think about Trossard and Gvardiol from -4? Depends who you're taking out, man. Depends who you are taking out. I don't know if we're necessarily going to get some. Tony's been a little bit quiet on the front this season. Maybe they've tied up the old City leaks because he has been a little bit quieter. Yeah, I like that front three, man. Danny, that's a strong front three. It's a great quote, man. Football is the most important of the unimportant things. Yep. Really is. Really is. People should, like, you know, follow stoicism and stuff like that as well, where it's just one of those things where you just don't have control over what happens in the game. So, you know, you shouldn't let it affect you. Or if it does affect you, go to the gym. Go for a walk. Spend time with family and just enjoy life. All right. What do you think of Trent Alexander-Arnold and Eze to Rico and Foden if we get leaks they play? I like those moves if they play. But Trent, man, is still a decent defender to hold. I know the fixtures aren't there, but the clean sheet data is still predicted to be decent over the next few. Thoughts on Foden and Trossard? I like both as options. I do. It is a gamble on both of them, but sometimes you've got to take those gambles. You got to take those gambles. Right, guys, I think we're going to leave it there for today's stream. We've been live for about an hour. He's got the leaker tied up. But like I said, we will be live tomorrow, of course, for the deadline stream at 8 o'clock tomorrow. One thing I did want to kind of point out is, of course, the second channel. Please head over there. Go and check it out. I'll put another link in the chat. Let me put it in here. Boom. Yeah. Please go and check it out. Check out the second channel. We are on that road to 1,000 subscribers. As you can see, we went out to the Stockholm Derby last weekend and absolutely loved it. So please go and check this channel out. As soon as we hit 1K, we can do a lot more cool stuff with this channel. Start doing some pretty tasty things and head into even more bigger and better derbies as well for you guys as well. So it is, I would say at the moment, a passion project. But I'd love to be able to kind of, you know, get something out of this and do even more exciting things. So please go and check out the second channel. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you're liking the videos over on there. Like I said as well, if you are new around here, make sure you're hitting like on the FPL stuff as well, if that's more your kind of bracket. Because, of course, we will be live a lot. There's plenty of content coming your way in terms of videos as well. But that is going to leave it there. Like I said, guys, I will be live tomorrow for the deadline stream. I can't find the end stream button. There it is. I will be live tomorrow for the deadline stream. We'll be live at 8 AM. So make sure you're here nice and early. Get your team sent in. Of course, we will be doing team reviews as well, as we always do. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck in Game Week 7.